Okay, our case preparation. We're loading 6.5 Creedmoor. We separated our cases by eccentricity. The next part of the project is to prepare our primer packets. This is one-shot quantity brass, and what I found is that the primer packets are not all the same. They vary. So the best thing to do was to uniform them, and the flash holes could use some deburring. I started out with these tools here. This is RCBS. Got a carbide cutter on it, basically a stop. And what you do is you loosen the set screw, and you can move the carbide cutter in and out. A carbide cutter is reversible. It's got for a large primer pocket, and it also has for the small primer pocket, reversing the carbide cutter around. And then you just set how deep you want to go with this by tightening the set screw. It's hard to get. Once you get it set, it's locked. It's not cleaning up all the way, and you want to move it out a little bit. That's hard to do with this. You can also unscrew this handle off of it. The handle is separate. It didn't come with a handle. And these are standoffs that I use for circuit boards. Pulled circuit boards off of a chassis, and this screwed right onto the primer pocket uniformer. So you got a circuit board standoff. This is what you get from RCBS right here. And then you have the standoff, and then lastly, you can buy a handle. Problem with this one is that once it's adjusted, it's okay, but if you need to change the adjustment, not so good. Decent tool, but there's better out there. So what I found was 21st century shooting supplies or shooting incorporated this primer pocket uniformer. It's the same features, carbide cutter on it, and what it has is a micrometer adjustment. This is a lock nut, and then there's hash marks on here with numbers on the hash mark, and there's a reference mark on this dial. So what happens is as you rotate this dial, it's actually moving out, and it moves out by 1/1000th increments. So you can actually set this, say you're doing 6.5 and 300 Winchester Magnum, set it for the 6.5, change it for 300 Winchester Magnum, and then come right back to where you were set for 6.5 using the reference mark right into the primer pocket uniformer. Also, the cutter got both large and small diameter for both sides primer pockets, and it's carbide. Pretty simple. All you do is once you get it to where you want, you just chuck it up in a drill, and I just put it on here. Now this primer pocket has not been done. The cutter cuts all the way around on the entire primer pocket. It does a real nice job at cleaning out that primer pocket. So that's that. Here's another one. This is the before. These cases have been done through an ultrasound, so the cases are really clean. With this primer pocket uniformer, now one thing you do have to do is knock the chips out. Once it should have a little brush here for this. Once chips develop on the primer pocket uniformer cutter, then there's a tendency for the cutter just to rotate on those chips. So that's the part where you want to clean the chips off the cutter face. It's able to reach the full depth of whatever you got it set. All of your primer pockets will have the exact same configuration. They'll all be the same depth as the original one that we did. And you can tell when you're doing it, you can see the case meet up with the face on the tool. And that's all there is to it. Now this only needs to be done once. Once these primer pockets are uniform, means that the second, the third, the fourth, any firings that you do after that, you don't have to do this because they're all the same. So you eliminate that out of the mix. Again, when you're reloading and you're looking for accuracy, consistency is important. So by having the same exact primer pockets, all your loads, your ignition should be the same. So that's the first part, is you want to get the depth of the primer pockets identical. The next tool is to do the flash holes. This is also from 21st Century Shooting Incorporated. What this tool is, a flash hole Deburring tool. And what it does is it puts a really nice chamfer on both the inside and the outside of the flash hole. and it's made in such a way that it will only go so deep. Initially, I started out with, I think this is a lineman tool, and the way this one works is you just got a drill tip on it. It's a center drill, and the size of the center drill is smaller than the flash hole, and you just insert this thing in there. You have this cone-shaped stop set to the depth you want to go to. It's okay. You know, everyone is the same. So the repeatability of it is, with this tool, if we can get a close-up on it, the actual pilot is not a cutting surface. So the only cutting surface is there's a small chamfer right here, and that's the cutter. The pilot doesn't cut, and the face of this doesn't cut. There's just, like I say, there's a small chamfer, and that's what cuts. So when the tool goes in on the case, and it bottoms out against this face, it stops cutting. This is like an automatic stop for it. That just sits there and burnishes the case. Once this touches the case, it stops cutting. The pilot keeps you in the center of the hole. It's really, this tool, you can't beat this tool. With this center drill, the length of the case is a little bit different. Well, then you're going deep on your chamfer. If the length from the inside here, face of the mouth of the neck differs, you know, your chamfers will differ. With this, you're referencing off the bottom of the case. So it doesn't get any better than this, really. It does a really nice job on both the inside and the outside. It has a bushing on the outside of it. This is 465, so it fits the mouth really well. And that slip bushing just slits. And then the pilot just passes through. This thing is going to focus the inside, and you can see it. The pilot set through there. So, like I say, the cutter just goes in, and when the cutter bottoms out against the inside of the case, the hole is chamfered. Let me do one. Again, it's a drill tool. You put it in a drill. We're done with this tool. We'll put this over here in the box. This is, this is acceptable, but this is much more consistent. With this tool, every one that you do turns out identical. So you just bring the pilot through. And it gives you this, I don't know if it's going to show up here, but it gives you like a little curled chip to the outside. And you can do both the inside and the outside. And like I say, once it reaches, here's the little curled chip that you get off of it. This is really a nice tool. And every one of these things, when you look at them, both inside and out, they're perfect. So I highly recommend this tool. And when you look at them, every one of them is identical. Let's see if I can show you one of these. So now here we are. I don't know if the chamfer is going to show up, but this thing does a really, really nice job on the chamfer. If we can get in here and show you what that looks like. And I've looked at the inside of this thing with a light, and they're beautiful. So again, this is something that only has to be done once. I recommend what I do after I get done with this. Fire up the air compressor and I blow them out. But that's all there is to it. There's a different one of these. The cutter will be identical. The sleeve that fits the neck, that's different on each one. So 21st century, they get you that way. You gotta buy one for every size case you're doing, at least for the neck size. So far, this is the absolute best. It's gonna show up, maybe it will. The chamfer that this thing does. Putting a little bit of light on this is going to help. Let me try that. I got to get in the center of the frame. If you can see that chamfer. Alright, so I think the light actually makes it worse. Boy, if I could show you the inside. It really is something to see the inside. You might be able to pick it up right there. The tool I'm using to actually look at the inside is steel light. It's a light on stick, and then it actually fits down inside. And you turn it on. With the gap that's around this thing, you can actually see the chamfer. It lights it up real nice inside there. But yeah, that's what I use to actually look at the inside. To do an inspection of it. But that's it. Here's your flash hole deburring tool. Dial this back a little bit. There's your flash hole deburring tool. And then this is the tool for the primer pocket. Best job that I've seen. And there you have it. So I thought I'd show you the card where this thing came from. 21st Century Shooting Incorporated. It's in Indiana, and the phone number on the card is 260-273-9909. And that's where the primer pocket uniformer with the carbide tip came from, and also the flash hole uniformer. That's where that comes from. So that's the information on where I bought this. Don't remember if I found them on the internet or exactly how I found them, but that's where these tools come from. And of what I've used, of the hand tools, different types of tools I use, I even tried this is a 6-inch long center drill. High-speed steel. The depth of them, flash hole, turns out a little bit different with this. With this tool, every flash hole looks identical. Once this face of the tool reaches face on the primer pocket, the bottom of the primer pocket, it stops cutting, and it just spins at that point. Burnishes the face a little bit, and it gives a real nice chip. So that's the information on where this stuff comes from. All right.